Hello, my friends. Jerry Rosa here in the Rosa Stringworks Man Cave. And we do have a good vlog for you today. Actually, for two reasons. The title is one reason, but there was another thing that happened today that's going to make it even just like put a cherry on top. My friend George Humphrey brought in his guitar this morning, and I did a setup on it. And those of you who want to participate at the very end of the vlog here today, after we do all the other stuff, we'll watch that video together. I've inserted myself in the video, my live self as opposed to my dead self into the video, and we can watch it all live together. And we'll do that at the very end. So that's a secondary treat. And then I'll release that video on its own account after we're done here today. But the title of this video is talking about something I found here on the farm. And it's interesting. It's very interesting. And so let me tell you how this kind of occurred. I think it was kind of like meant to be type thing, you know. I was working on the dump truck yesterday, and I was in the shop, and I made some progress. I got the two, I don't know what you would call them, I don't know, brackets, tabs, whatever, on the back end of the bed. I attached those, and those have the holes in it where you put the rods in to attach it to the frame. So in other words, it would pivot on those rods. Well, I got the brackets on there, and then I looked at the rods that I had, and they just didn't fit the holes very well. They were the original rods, or at least original when I got the truck. Let's just say it that way. I don't think they were original because I'm not even sure this truck was a dump truck when it was original. But anyway, the point is, you know, I decided I was going to make new rods and make them fit the holes better. So I'm in there on the metal lathe, and I'm working on this. Now, keep in mind, I had already mentioned to you guys that it was such a beautiful day here that I thought, man, I don't know if I should work on this dump truck or go metal detecting, you know. Well, as I'm working on these rods to make new ones, everything that could did. I mean, like literally everything. It just like nothing would work. And I said, well, so I just, after about an hour's worth of that, and I literally stuck it out for about an hour, I just said, I think somebody's telling me something. I think I'm supposed to go metal detecting. Forget this crap, you know. So I just put the project on hold, went out and went metal detecting. And look what I found. This is kind of a little late April's Fool. I don't know what this is, but I do know what this is. Oh my goodness, you are not going to believe what I just found not too far from this spring. You are not going to believe it. You are not going to believe it. You are not going to believe it. Watch this. Right here, underneath this clod, I'm pretty sure that's a gold ring. I don't know. I might be wrong, but I'm pretty sure that's a gold ring. And if it's a gold ring, that might be a real rock in there. I don't know if it's a gold ring or not. Let's clean it up. I'm just showing you in case it is. I cannot believe this. Whoa. That is something. Let me clean it up and I'll give you a better look. Well, my friends, I would almost bet a big chunk of change that that's real. Look at the stone. Oh my gosh. I'm just about sure that's real. It's hollow on the inside. They went to a lot of trouble if this is fake. I see a marking there, and I'm almost sure that says something carat gold. I'm almost sure it does. I can't read it. I need close-up glasses to read that, but I'm pretty sure that says something with a K on the end of it. Holy mackerel. I'm almost sure this is real. I can't believe it. I can't believe it. I think I just paid for my metal detector. Woohoo! I'm pretty sure I paid for my metal detector. I'm pretty sure of that. Now, I think I was even more excited because just looking at it, it looks extremely old. Looks like it would have been made back in the 1800s. It just has that kind of design look to it to me, because it's super ornate. Well, it says 18K on it. So 18K is 3/4 solid gold. 24K is solid gold, 100% gold. 18K is 75% gold. Like 14K, which is a common one. I think that's 50% gold. So 18K is kind of like your second best. And the stone that's in it, I can't imagine putting glass in 18 karat gold. It just doesn't make sense to me. So I'm pretty sure the stone's real. Now, if the stone is a diamond, it's going to be worth a chunk of change. If it's, maybe a white sapphire or something like that, I don't know. I guess that's possible. I know the stone is not scratched up at all compared to most glass things I've dug. I've dug a lot of beady things, like rhinestones and different things that have come out of the ground, and they're all cloudy and scratched up looking. This is not cloudy or scratched up looking at all. I mean, it's clear as a bell. George Humphrey, the guy that brought the guitar in today, he said that, he worked in a pawn shop for years. Well, guess what people bring into pawn shops? They bring in rings and jewelry, and he looked at it this morning and goes, I'm pretty sure that's real. He said. So here's a little closer look at it for you. I've got several closer looks here. So we'll look at the first one. You can see how ornate it is, especially in that right picture there, how detailed the setting is. It's super detailed. I mean, it's like super detailed. And because of that, I thought it was probably 1800s, late 1800s. But then after I got to doing some research and read up about it, I'm a little less excited because I was really hoping it was 1800s, but I don't think it is. I honestly think it's probably between 1906 and 1930. And I doubt it's 1930. I'm going to guess it's in the 20s, honestly. That's when I really think it probably was. 1920s ring. And the reason I say that is because I don't think anybody was living back there, especially after the 1930s. I think they were living there probably into the 20s, and I doubt they were living there much after that. I don't know. It's the other thing I just want you to realize is when you're in that spot where I found this, you can pretty much, excluding my own house and JR's house, excluding those two houses, you can pretty much walk in any direction, probably a minimum of 2 miles before you're going to hit a house. So, I mean, it's really remote. It's a really remote location. Okay, so there's picture number one there to give you a better look at it. Here's another view. And this was me just holding it outside, trying to shade it from the sun too much because it was glaring so much. This was before I cleaned it, by the way. Then this final picture here just gives you a good look at the detail in it. I would pretty much bet it's 1906 was when they regulated that it had to be marked. The gold had to be stamped. And so from 1906 on, they for sure marked them with like 18K. Now, before that, it was optional, and some jewelers did mark them with 18K in the 1800s. I would like to hope this was one of those, but I don't know that it is. I would guess more reality that it's probably after 1906, but don't know that for sure. If anybody is a jewelry expert, be sure to pipe up in the comments. I would love to hear from you. If I'm all excited about nothing, let me know that too. But I'm pretty sure, I'm pretty positive this is the real deal here. And, like believe it or not, and this is what's really weird, this is the fourth ring I have found back there. I found the very first one that I wrote the song about down deep in that same exact spring, where I just walked past there in the video, and I found this ring here that you're looking at on the screen. The first ring I found was in that spring about 18 inches deep, and that's why I wrote the song. Well, this one was about 10 feet on the other side of the spring. Well, then there's other two rings I found. I found another wedding band. By the way, the one in the spring was a wedding band. It wasn't the kind that would hold a gemstone. And then I found the next one I found above that pond I built back there where the house used to be up above the pond. And I found that one. And that one used to hold a gemstone, but it was also a nickel silver type ring that had some gold plating on it. And then I found another wedding band down below the pond, where the pond is there. If you went straight on down the hill further and toward the creek, I found another one. So I found two wedding bands and two wedding rings so far. Pretty amazing for a place as remote as this. I mean, it's pretty amazing to find 4 rings. And I like the fourth one the best. It's pretty cool, if you ask me. I would guess this at a 1 carat diamond. I am not sure it's that big, but I think it is probably pretty close to that big. It might possibly be a 3/4 carat, but I'm fairly sure it's a full carat. Just to give you a size comparison there to my hand, these little cameras, they don't focus. It's sad, but they just don't focus. Anyway, that's all I got. You have to understand, I'm used to finding nails and wire and trash. That's all I find. And things like this. I find tons of things like this. Now, this one is kind of cool. I kind of think this is something decent also, but Sue, myself, and that George Humphrey that was here today, he thinks it's also leather harness buckle, and that's what I think it is too. I think it's something off of some harness for a horse or something, but I don't know what it is for sure. I was trying to tie this to the Civil War. I looked up all kinds of things on the Civil War with harness and buckles and things, and I didn't see anything that looked just like this, so I don't know. But I'm anxious to hear your all's comments if you got any. And I'm trying to decide, should we go through the comments first and then watch the setup video, or do you want to watch the setup video now and then go through the comments? Which way do you want to do it? Let's see. A magnet won't stick to it, I see, is the last comment there. Well, I'm sure this is not magnetic. I haven't tried that, but I'm pretty sure it's not magnetic. I'm trying to think, do I have a magnet anywhere close? I'd be real disappointed if a magnet would stick to it here, but I don't think I have a magnet anywhere close. You can tell by the weight of this too that this is the real thing. This is not some fakery thing. And like I said, it's stamped with 18K. Generally, you don't see that on anything fake either. But then I guess if you're trying to fake something, that's what you would stamp, wouldn't you? Let's see. Looking to see, did anybody... Yeah, somebody says go through the comments first, so maybe we'll try it. Sounds like the farm had a marriage curse. Yeah, that's pretty weird. Okay. Let's go through the comments real quick. We'll try to get them as fast as we can because the video is about 15 minutes long. Bill Webb, dang, just checked the channel and found the vlog posted early today. Now I can't hardly wait. Well, I hope you're not disappointed with this. This was pretty exciting to me, and it was more exciting when I thought it was in the 1800s because I just thought anything that decorative was probably made back when people were real craftsmen, you know. But I don't know. It may not be that old. Jeff Pierce says he's excited too. Let's see. Rod Wentler. Oh boy, can't wait. Yep. Well, that's why I posted it yesterday. Because plus I had to get all those pictures and stuff ready, and I thought I didn't want to wait till the last minute and then have trouble getting it all ready in time, you know. But anyway. Let's see. Moving on down. Dottie says, praying for everybody. Thank you, Dottie. Rod Wentler, did you give Mr. Tharp a hall pass? I think he's here. Yeah, he says later. He says, I'm here. And I haven't lost all my marbles yet, but I'm pretty sure there's a hole in the bag somewhere. I think I could ditto that remark. Preston Johnson. Do you remember about dittos? Do you remember that? You know, wasn't that what they called it? Ditto paper or whatever? What was it they called that stuff back in the old days? It had that smell. Everybody always liked to smell it. When you were a kid, you know, at school, they would make these copies. I think they called them dittos, didn't they? Or didn't they call it something else? I can't remember. Preston Johnson. Hey, Jerry, a great big thanks for all the videos you post. Let us housebound folks get out. Really appreciate you. Well, great. And I'm sorry you're housebound there, Preston, but hopefully we'll bring you stuff that you enjoy seeing. I'm trying to do my best. Now with my new camera, I think it's going to be better just from this point on. I really hated the dang GoPro. I like the DJI camera that I have that has the gimbal built in. I like it, but it's still awkward to use. This camera is kind of the best of both worlds. I really like this new camera. It's much better for me. I just hated the design of the other one. David Tharp, studies have shown that people who have more birthdays live longer than those who do not have as many. I wonder how they figured that out. I bet that took some thinking. David Tharp, hey Jerry, my grandson Connor is here and he wants to ask you what violin strings you would recommend. One broke as he was tuning it. Well, you know, it's that old thing about expense. The ones I recommend are fairly pricey. I don't know what you can buy them for these days. I haven't priced them in quite a long time. They were up at around $40 retail when I bought them last, so they're probably $50 retail. I have no idea. But they're the Pro Art. Trying to think if they have more to the name. I know they're Pro Art by Diodario. That's the first thing. And some of them have a plain E string and the same brand, they have two options. They have a plain E string and they have a wrapped E string. And I definitely recommend getting the wrapped E string. If you can find those. And you probably can find them online, you know, if you just search. I don't think there's a link to they might be a link on my products I use page. Actually, there might be. I just can't remember. But regardless, that's the ones I recommend. Those are really good strings. But if you don't want to spend that kind of money, then I think just the Red Label strings, that's the actual name of them, Red Label. And I don't think they make them with a wrapped E, but Red Label strings are, for the money, they're pretty decent. So there you go. And even those are expensive. I mean, they're like $20 these days. Violin strings are expensive. Mainly because they can get away with it. I don't know why they get away with it, but they do. Bill Webb, good afternoon, Jerry and friends. Yep. And Ronald Todd, Jerry, the metal detecting must be agreeing with you. You look like a kid in a candy store today. You just paid for your metal detector for sure. I think so. I'm pretty positive of that. I don't know what a ring like this would sell for, but I know if I was going to buy one, I'd be talking several $1,000s. Now, I have a feeling if I'm trying to sell one, we're probably talking more like $1,300 or $1,500 or something like that. But it's still, I think that's about what my metal detector costs. I'm pretty sure I paid for it. Let's see. Richard Polite. Something was telling you should forget the truck and go detecting, I guess. Yep. It's pretty much the way it just felt. It really did feel that way. I know that sounds real hokey now that I found this, but I honestly said to myself, and I told Sue this too, I said, there's something telling me just to go detecting. This might be my best find ever. And I actually had that thought before I went back there. Believe what you want. You believe I don't care what you believe. I have no reason to say that. It doesn't make me any richer or any better, but that's the truth. I actually thought that. I thought, man, I might find something really good because this is really sucking canal water right now, what I'm doing. It just wouldn't work. It was chattering. It was just giving me fits. It wasn't cutting good. And all of a sudden it dug in real deep. And I'm going like, why is it doing all this crud? I mean, it's like there was no reason for it that I could see. And finally I just said, forget it. And just went back there. And I found this. So I think it was meant to be. I don't know. David Thorpe, I have a lot of unemployment jokes, but none of them work. David, you are messed up. Let's see. Ben Boyd, can you imagine the frantic searching and ultimate heartache the person who lost that ring went through? I can imagine. Yeah, I can imagine. Unless it's like my daughter said, maybe it was some numbskull and she got mad at him and just threw it away. I mean, you never know. And especially finding 4 rings back there. And they're all size 7, by the way. That's nuts, isn't it? Zappa. Yeah, to give you an idea, size 7 is pretty tiny. Look at that. That's as big as it goes, Can't get it on any further than that. Jerry, toast the stone on a piece of glass. No, thank you. I'm not going to do that, but I know what you're saying. Let's see. Well, shoot. It scrolled on me and I lost where I was at. Okay. Wavy gravy. I'll bet old Bob gave that ring to his wife and she decided to hide it in a safe place by burying it in the middle of a 40-acre field. Yeah, that's about their speed. It wouldn't surprise me. Ronald Todd, I got my wife an antique ring years ago that looks a lot like that and was told it's German cut and not used anymore. Rod Wintler, do we have a new song coming about this one? Well, I think I already wore that out, so I don't have a option now, unless I can think of a different angle on it. Dottie Hildebrand, I need a hall pass for tomorrow. I have a VA appointment to check my VA disability Thursday. It's a doctor's appointment. Wow. Well, good luck to you, Dottie. Anything that's got the government attached to it, just good luck. That's all I got to say about that. I hope it works out for you. Ben Boyd, a magnet won't stick to it, will it? No, it won't. Gold is not magnetic. All right, since you keep bringing it up, I'm going to go I'll go get a magnet because I got to know now. I never even thought about it.
Tea and soda pop written on the faded window sign. Ruby and Pearl are her best friends. There you'll find the 3 of them. Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 9:30. You can set a watch by their routine.
Okay, to prove this is a magnet watch. Whoops, I dropped the screw. There you go. It is a magnet. Okay. I'm pretty sure it ain't magnetic, but if it is, I'm going to start crying right here on screen. No attraction whatsoever. Attraction. So it's not magnetic. I was pretty darn positive it was not magnetic, but you never know. You don't know till you don't know what you don't know till you don't know it. Let's see, Dottie Hildebrandt. If Tom Armstrong could tell you about rings, he makes jewelry. Oh yeah, that's right. Well, wouldn't you know this would be the day he's not on here? And he's also a metal detector too. He likes to do the metal detecting. Ronald Todd, sounds like the farm had a marriage. Yeah, I read that one already. Let's see. Wavy Gravy, rabbits dig for carrots. Jerry digs for carrots. Spelled slightly different, but that's the reason the English language sucks canal water, because, you have the same exact sound and it's spelled different. Let's see. Blackjack Guitar. Hi, Jerry. I imagine women horseback riders lost their rings while riding. It's a possibility. That is definitely a good possibility, because there were some what I would call high-class ladies riding. We have pictures of them on the farm where they were riding their real high-end horses, if you will. They were all dressed out in their fancy garb. And like I told you, back there, not in the same place, several hundred yards apart from this, I would say maybe 300 to 400 yards apart from this, from where I found this, I found a lady's compact and something else, I think lipstick, right where we had a picture of them. I mean, like, we literally had a picture with the hills as a backdrop, and that's exactly where I found the compact and the lipstick. And my guess is they laid it down there, took their picture, and forgot they laid it down there. That's what I'm guessing, but I don't know that. And those pictures were made in the 30s, which kind of falls in line with the date of this ring, too. So, I mean, it's possible. That is a very definite possibility. Let's see. Rod Wintler, Ditto Machines. I love the smell, too. Yeah, I guess that's what they were called. Seems like there was one other name they called them, though. I can't remember. Seemed like there was one other name. Parchment paper? No, that's not what I'm thinking of. Let's see. Mike Spivey says, put a picture of it on Google and ask him what year it was made. And ask him, or ask Google what year it was made? No, that's an idea, I guess. Image search on it. I didn't think about doing an image search like my grandson trained me. Let's see. Lindenbaum, I remember the Ditto machine from back in the 60s in school. Kids used to smell the ink when they were, taking tests. Yeah, I remember that. Exactly, yeah. And I guess it was Ditto, but it seems like there was another name. I don't know what that other name was, but it seemed like there was. It was that blue-looking ink or blue-colored paper or something. And again, I'm colorblind, but that's what I seem to remember, that it was some sort of a blue color. Let's see. Kelly Menace, I hear another wedding ring sung in the future. Great find. Bill Webb, not disappointed. Fun to see your excitement over the find. See, Gino Hitch. Let's see, that's no question marks. I'm trying to just read the question marks. There's my daughter, Rochelle. Dad, you can't sell it. I've already called dibs. She said that in her text. That's my daughter. And in my text reply back to her, I just said OMDB, over my dead body. Which, that won't be that long anyway, and she'll get it. So therefore, it's possible. Let's see. It scrolled on me again. Man, that's crazy. It scrolled a long way. Okay, Kelly Manis. Does it match any of the bands you found? No, it doesn't. Doesn't match them at all. I mean, it's like, it'd be like night and day different, I mean, those other ones I found were all what I call nickel silver. They were, basically a copper alloy, and they had gold plating done to them, and the gold plating had worn off or weathered off. And on one of them, for sure, you could definitely still see some gold flecks on there. But the other ones were so far gone, and my guess is those were from the 1800s, is what I'm guessing. The one that was that held a stone, it looked to be more newer than the other two, but then again, it didn't look real new. I would say it was probably turn of the century, late 1800s, something like that, the one that held the stone that was missing. But they were all just drab, almost copper color, because they'd been in the ground so long, where this came out of the ground bright and shiny. I mean, and that's the way gold is. Gold doesn't tarnish, It's the noble gold, or whatever you want to call it, noble metal, and nothing changes it, So it comes out of the ground pretty much pristine. And I had a squirt bottle there with me, water, and then a soft bristle toothbrush, and I cleaned it right there on the spot. That's how it looks. That's why it looks so clean in the video, because I cleaned it right there. Simon Jardine, I got my guitar soundboard stripped of poly today with my belt sander and 4 times 600 grit belts. They got through it in no time. Is one coat of clear hard wax polish enough to finish? Well, I have to just throw that back at you and say it's enough when you think it's enough, basically. The other side, in other words, once it fills the pores and levels out, it's enough. But you want to make sure you don't keep going and put it on real thick. You want to get it as thin as you can get it and get it covered and smooth, That's just the best way I can explain it. GNP Old Marine Shop. Hi, Jerry. Nice find. I had a ring appraised, and they told me the diamond wasn't worth anything, and the huge gold ring, maybe $300. I was shocked. They're crooks. Yeah, you got to be real careful with that. When I was probably in my 30s, and I'm a real sentimental kind of guy anyway. I mean, I really am. I things stay with me forever, and I remember things like stuff. And so I had this Roy Rogers watch given to me by my mom when I was just a little bitty boy, and it was just, I guess you'd call it a toy Roy Rogers watch, but it did actually work. It was a Timex, I believe. I think. I'm not even sure about that, but I think it was a Timex. But anyway, so I took it to a jeweler, watchmaker guy or whatever in downtown St. Louis. Oh, yeah, I can fix that. I'll make it really good for you. I came back about a week or two later, and his shop was closed and gone. And it just, stuff like that just bugs the living, out of me. And that's what I'm afraid with this. I'm even afraid to just take it, have them appraise it, or look at it, because you don't know what they do. They go back behind the door and pop this out and plug in another one. They got that kind of stuff sitting around, especially the crooked ones, I don't know. But I probably will take it and have it appraised or something. Let's see. Moving on down. Zappa has some question marks. Jerry, Sue's not big on jewelry, so give it to your girlfriend. She's not big on jewelry, that's true. And Rochelle, you didn't put any question marks by your comment, but it says, Dad, I'm also a ring size 7. It's meant to be. I'll give you the other 3. How about that? You can have the other 3, and I'll just keep just this one. Paul Walton, the ring looks like Art Deco style. That's what I thought too. Yeah, after I realized that it probably was made after 1906, then I got to thinking, well, it's probably Art Deco style. That's why it's so ornate. Let's see. Gary Hayden, based on my grandson's fiddle teacher recommendations, I bought him a set of Tomastic infield. Yeah, those are good strings too. Those are very good strings, and of course they're expensive, even more expensive. But again, I wouldn't even buy those unless they have a wrapped E. A wrapped E is really important in my mind to cut down the harshness of the tone. Let's see, moving on down, Hugh O'Connor, maybe the camera, but it didn't look close to 1 carat to me. In the UK, items are hallmarked, which denotes the exact year. Yeah, well, yeah, it may be the camera, but it's 3/16 of an inch across. It's not quite a 1/4 inch across. It's pretty good size. So that would be about, I'm going to say it's about 5 millimeters across. Pretty good size. Ben Boyd, if those rings are from the same woman throwing them away in anger, you should find some frying pans with dents in them. Yeah, doggone, this thing keeps scrolling on me bad today. Ah, man. Where did it go? I lost. Oh, man. Okay. Getting close. All right. I think I found it. If those rings are from the same one, okay, I'll find a pan with dents in it. I wouldn't surprise me on that. David Tharp, to prevent toenail fungus and dandruff, be sure and hit the thumbs up. Hey, yeah, that'll cure it. GNP Old Marine Shop with gold up. The sad reality is you need lots of it to cash in, not a few rings. Yeah, I don't see it as selling it as gold price. That would be kind of dumb, I think. I think the fact that it's an old antique type ring and with the nice stone that it has, it's a pretty good sized stone. I would think it ought to be worth a few dollars. Mimeograph, that's the word I was looking for. Yeah, mimeograph. Thank you, Rod Wintler. David Tharp, they were also called Okay, he said that too. Okay, yep, that's for sure. And then several more people said it. Jeff Pierce says it there. And Ed Hagstrom. And Harvey Conway. And Wavy Gravy. Yep, that's what I was looking for. Let's see. Simon Jardine. I was at a snobby horse riding party one day, and I noticed quite a few of the women wore rings over their gloves. Let's see. Okay, so moving on down. Yeah, okay. Well, we got a bunch of them on the mimeograph now. And Bill says, is that white gold? Well, I don't know. On the outside, when I first dug it out of the ground, it looked real yellow gold. But then it looked lighter and more silver looking all the way. And then on the inside, which I can't show it to you, but on the inside, how this is hollow down in here. If you look on the inside through my microscope especially, you can see there's real bright yellow gold and real bright yellow gold, which I think is where they probably soldered it together with gold. You know what I'm saying? They do that, but it's on the inside. And so I don't know. All I know is it says 14K, so 18K. It says 18K, so it should be 75% gold. White gold, I don't think is 18K. I don't think. I don't know for sure, to be honest. Yeah, mimeograph. A lot of people are saying mimeograph. Okay, we're just going to ignore those for now because we've talked about that. Okay, the Pro Art strings are 42 lira or whatever that word is, pounds, I guess. I don't know if that's lira or pounds on Amazon, UK. I guess it's pounds. Yeah, and again, though, that depends on whether it's the plain E or the wrapped E. Let's see. Simon Journey, could the ring be platinum? Can you check for platinum? Well, again, I don't think they would stamp 14K in platinum because it was a law in 1906 or 1905. I think it was put into place 1905 and enforced 1906 and thereafter, something like that, where jewelers had to stamp gold with the carat. And so it's stamped 18K, so I'm pretty sure it's 18K gold. Let's see. Getting right at the bottom here. Dottie says, I need a ring, Jerry, so get out there and find me one. Yep. G&P Old Marine Shop. Do worn violin bow hairs lose their abrasive quality with age and don't draw out the tones? The truth is on that, I don't know that I know that answer. I know I've used them that are very old and they seem to work fine. It's the rosin that helps them grip. Brand new hair will not grip at all. It just slides over, makes no sound whatsoever. I mean, it takes a while to take a brand new bow and make it make sound. It just literally slides over it and makes no sound at all. So you have to put the rosin on there in order to make it work. And typically, I don't think it makes any difference whether it's new or old. It works, as long as the rosin will stick. Patrick Spinels also says mimeograph. Yeah, there you go. David Tharp, they said that you learn from your mistakes. I must be a genius by now. Ditto. Let's see. Rod Wintler, just to clarify, the Ditto smelled better than the mimeograph. Well, the truth is, I don't know which one smelled like what, but I think mimeograph's the one I think I remember smelling, and I thought it smelled really good. And I don't know if there's a difference or not. We got 167 viewers. Let's watch the last little video that I made this morning. I did all this work this morning, shot the video this morning, of course, while I was doing the work, and then I edited it this morning. There was only about, 30 minutes of raw footage, and I shrunk that down to 15 minutes. So here we go. Hello, my friends. Jerry Rosa here in the Rosa Stringworks Workshop. Got a good friend of mine, George Humphrey, in the shop today. And George and I have jammed together at different jams around town, and I've worked on a number of his instruments over the years. And he's brought in a new instrument. This one is called a Tanglewood Guitar Company, is what it says. Got a big T up there. And I asked him, I said, how do you play this without poking your eyes out? He didn't cut all the wires off yet, but that's all right. We'll get to it. We need a good setup on this. The bridge is, the saddle is really leaning forward badly, and you've heard me say that when that happens, you're going to break your bridge because it acts like a lever, and when it pulls down like that, it'll just crack your bridge right across there. So we're going to fix that, and we're going to get to it right after this. I have to put this on there. Okay, so let's turn the camera down here, and I'll show you what we're going to do. So first thing I'm going to do is just cut off the extra wire because I don't want to poke my eye out. Ironically, just a moment ago, I picked up my glasses. They have magnets in them, and guess what was stuck to my glasses when I put them on my face? There was a single-edged razor blade stuck right there, and I put them on my face, and I could feel it cutting my nose. It's always something around here. Let's get to the business. First thing we're going to do is look at this end down here because I know this ain't right. We may have to make a new saddle. I don't know what we're going to do. But we'll just loosen the strings up a bit. and we'll just pull the pins. Also, my friends, I've noticed these keys are really loose. They're flopping, so these screws on the ends need to be tightened up. So we're going to get to that too here in just a minute. These are really tight for some reason. So he's got several shims underneath here. It looks like they're wire tie zip straps or whatever you call it. And we're going to take that out because we don't use that stuff. We'll make it work without that.
Two different colors, doesn't it?
Because this is shallow, when you build that up, then that lets this lean forward a lot, you know. Probably what we're going to do first is tighten up these tuning keys. Then we're going to probably restring it, believe it or not, and then unstring it yet again, because that's the only way you can get to all this to do it right. First thing we're going to do is tighten these up, because these are super loose. I mean like super loose. They're ready to fall off.
I'll put some new ones on there, I guess.
Yeah, these are fine, I think. They were just super loose. I have a feeling these will be okay once we tighten that up. Let me make sure these screws back here are okay. I think they're okay. Yeah, those are fine. Okay, so I think we're in pretty good shape on that part now. Now what I want to do is I'm going to string it back up. I'm at least string up 2 strings, and that way I can get an idea how high we are on our action. Because until I know that, I don't really know much anything. While I'm at it, I'm just going to take the extra step of tapering these pegs. So I'm going to do that first. I'll be right back. I'm just going to go over to the sander and I'm going to sand a little taper in the end of these pegs. I'll show you what that looks like here in just a second. Okay, so I beveled all of the pins like that, and the reason I do that is that button that's on the end of the string cannot set on there anymore. This lets it slide past the button, and then you don't have that problem of it popping your pins out. Well, we obviously do have a real problem. The neck angle is going to be way off on this, I have a feeling. Well, actually it isn't. I'm surprised. I don't know why that would be like that. This neck angle appears to be fairly good. I mean, I look down at level to this, the neck angle is dropping down like it ought to. So I don't know why exactly we have no clearance, but we have 0 clearance. These strings are sitting right on the frets. You know what I think it is? I have a feeling, I'm just guessing right now, but I have a feeling this truss rod may be really, really tight, and that's overbowing the neck. That's what I'm thinking, because the neck actually has a real steep bow to it. It goes down like that. It's not just an angle down, it's a bow down, and that bow is pulling the strings right around that bow and making them tight to the neck. So I have a feeling this is going to be really tight, but that's just a guess. I don't even know for sure. We're going to explore that theory right now. Alright, so I found an Allen wrench that fits it. I'm going to test my theory and see if this is tight. I have a feeling it's tight, but I don't know that for sure. Well, it's pretty snug. I'm going to back it off some. There, it went loose right there. Yep, I can pull a little bit bow in it now. Okay, I'm going to retighten these strings and see if that improved anything, because it definitely loosened up. Those were laying right on the fretboard before, because there was an overbowing arch in this fretboard. You know, I like to see a fretboard pretty flat, almost perfectly flat. In fact, if you can see the underbow in it, you probably have too much. You want a tiny, tiny, tiny bit of underbow, which everyone calls relief. I don't know why they call it relief, because it don't relieve nothing. It's just an underbow, and that's what it really is. The point is that you want a perfectly flat fretboard or a
He's kind of
slight,
opinionated.
and I mean very, very, very slight underbow. So slight that you can barely even detect that it's there. The experts will tell you that you want that at like 10,000ths of an inch, and how many people know how to do that? I do, but very few people know how to figure that. So my point is just look down it, see if it's perfectly flat. If it's perfectly flat, you're probably good to go. This one is pretty darn flat now, so that's pretty good. It looks like it might have a slight underbow. All right, so I think what I'm going to do is go ahead and tune it up, because that may have fixed the problem, and I don't want to go extremes here if I don't have to. So let me tune it up and see how it is, and then we'll see where we need to go from there. I'll tune it up off camera. Well, my friends, I got her tuned up, and there's no more buzzing. That thing, it was definitely, the truss rod was way over tightened. I've said many hundreds of times on video that the truss rod is the single most abused thing on an instrument. Almost nobody really knows how to adjust one, and everybody thinks you use it to adjust your action, when in effect it's really not for adjusting action at all. It does affect your action by what you do to it, but it's not for adjusting action. Your truss rod is there just to get you a flat neck or slightly underbowed neck. That's what the truss rod's for. It's not to adjust your action, your string height up and down. And lots of people still believe that that's what it's for, but it is definitely not for that purpose. The way you adjust your string height is via your saddle or via your nut. And that's what we're going to check right now, because it does seem to play just fine right now. I've played it off camera. We'll play it for you here in a second, but before we do that, I wanted to check the string height here. Now, I'm looking for about 90 thousandths approximately, give or take, on the bass, and I'm looking for about 80 thousandths on the treble, give or take. So let's see where we're at. I have a feeling we're a little high. Yeah, we're at about 115. Believe it or not, we were so low that the strings were rubbing the neck, and now we're high. Can you believe it? So we're at about 115. 115. No, I take it back. I'm reading my numbers wrong here. We're at 105. We're at 105. It's been a while. I've been retired, you know. I haven't been doing this. We're at 105 thousandths, so we want to get to 90. So we're about 15 thousandths high, which is not terrible. It's just a little high. And let's see, on this side, we want to be about 80. And man, we're right on the money on this side. This side's perfect. This side's a little bit high. So see, if you were to now adjust your truss rod, you would be adjusting all your strings. And we only want to adjust the bass side. So what I'm going to do, because we're 15 thousandths high, that means if I take 30 thousandths off of this side, we'll drop it down 15 thousandths right here, because this is the halfway point. So we're going to take 30 thousandths down to nothing on this saddle right here. So let me show you how we do that. I'll just go ahead and loosen the strings and take these out, and then I'll show you the next step. I'm taking out a few of these strings here, and these pins, especially this bass pin, is super tight. And I can't reach in there like I normally do. I usually reach in there and run this in till I can feel it on the bottom. But I'm going to run this in just a little bit, because this pin is super tight. You can't hardly get it out. I'm going to call that good enough, because I can't really tell. All right, I'm going to pull the saddle out from under there. And I told you we need to take 30 thousandths off of this side down to nothing. And let me show you how we can do that. Okay, in order to do 30 thousandths down to nothing, what we do is we make a black mark on here like this, just right at the bottom edge. Really, it only matters at this end. You don't really have to make the mark go across. And then what you do is you find 30 thousandths on a set of calipers like this, and open it up to 30 thousandths, which ain't very much. People think it's a lot, but it's really not very much at all. That's why it's so hard to do this. If you don't have the right tools, you can't hardly do this. So that's only 30 thousandths right there, and you can see that's pretty tiny. So then you just take this and you scribe it right here like this, and you'll see that it makes a white mark there at 30 thousandths. Can you see the white mark? Now I'm just going to go over to the sander, and I'm going to watch very carefully, and I'm going to hold this away from the sander a little bit where this side's touching, and then we'll slide it in until both sides touch when this mark hits. So this will just touch the sander when this mark hits, and then we're done. That's how I do it. So you can see here, there's just a hint of that line left, and we've got it flat across there, so we're gonna put it back in, and we should be good to go now. That takes the guesswork out of it. It should be exactly right now. So let me string it back up, and I'll show you the result. Okay, my friends, I've got her tuned back up. Let's double check the action here. I have not checked it yet, so here we go. It ought to be right on the money at 90 thousandths. Well, I'll be honest, it's about 92 thousandths, but 2 thousandths of an inch is thinner than a human hair. So that's plenty good. That's really good. Let's play it for you. So it turns out in this case, the only problem this thing really had was a too tight truss rod. And this saddle I thought was plastic. As I was sanding it, it's for sure bone. He could even smell it. He knew it was bone. You can always smell bone when you start sanding it. Plays fine. It's really, the action's very good. I look down the neck. It does have a tiny bit of underbow on it, but that should be fine. You know, the relief that you want to call it. People get on me because I don't refer to it as relief, because to me, that's not what it really is. I don't care what the trendy words are. I care how it functions. And it won't function properly if there's an overbow, but it will function properly if there's a slight underbow. Well, I hope you learned something from this, that you learned that the truss rod is the absolute 100% most abused part of any guitar on any planet, anywhere. How do I know that? 40 years experience has told me that. Thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. We'll see you on the next video.
Oh, I put the wrong ending on that. It said to be continued. It's not to be continued. I picked the wrong one. I have two choices, and I picked the wrong one. 50-50 chance I get it wrong every time. Every single time. It's just the way it is. But seriously, in all seriousness, and I've said this countless times, the truss rod. I wish guitars did not have adjustable truss rods. That's why I like the Martins, because you couldn't screw it up. Everybody, and I mean everybody, I don't care who you think you are, what you think you know about truss rods, you'll screw it up. All right, I'm exaggerating, I'm kidding, but the truth is, I would say if 8 guitars came in the shop and there was a problem, in the setup, if I would say 8 out of 10 of them have something to do with having the truss rod adjusted incorrectly. It's just common. I mean, like, it's common. And then they added the 2-way truss rod, which just screwed it up 10 times worse. Almost every one of those comes in the shop and it's backwards. I don't know why people can't figure out that righty-tighty, lefty-loosey, but they go left and they feel it get tight and they just keep going, and they put an overbow in their neck. It's just, it doesn't even make sense. No, I take it back. I don't remember. No, they force
They force an underbow in it. That's what it is. When you tighten it, when you go loose and then you keep going loose, you force an underbow in it. Well, you don't need to force an underbow in a neck ever. So why did they ever do that? You don't need that. And I know every time I bring this up, somebody always has to come up with some exception, which is, in my opinion, every time they bring up their exception, there's a better way to handle it. It's not the way to handle it. They come up with it and they think it's the way to handle it, but it's wrong. The two-way truss rod, you don't need them at all. You just don't need them. The single truss rod, it's not for adjusting action. Just remember that. It's not. It's only to make sure the neck is flat. If you got your neck flat, you're good. Leave it alone. That's all you can do with a truss rod. Adjust your action at the nut and at the saddle. I'm seriously telling you, that's the thing. In 40 years, I couldn't even begin to tell you how many thousands of instruments came in with bad truss rod adjustment. It's just nuts. Just nuts. And Old Hickory says, don't forget to hit the like button, Jerry. Well, I will. I promise you I'm going to. And I hope you will all do that too. That was the only reason I hesitated showing the video in my vlog today, is because now you don't have to watch the video. I hope you will at least go to the video and click on it and click the like button. If nothing else, if you just do that for me, I would really appreciate it. That would help me out, because I showed it in the vlog today. I just thought it would be fun to do that, but now I lost out on all those views and I've lost out on all those likes. So please do that. Find the video, click the like button. I would really appreciate it. Garland says, contact the Antiques Roadshow about the ring, I guess. That's an idea. I don't know how to get a hold of them. GNP Old Marine Shop, that guitar has a Rosa. Yeah, I thought that was, I didn't think about it until your comment. Don't get me wrong, but that is kind of ironic that it had a rose in there, isn't it? I didn't even notice that, because when I'm working on an instrument, they could be, tangerine orange. I wouldn't know it. I'm looking for the problem, and I'm focused, man. Like I was trying to figure out, why is this thing doing what it's doing? And sure enough, it was the truss rod. It was just way, way over tightened, which made a significant overbow. That's it, guys. Thanks for being here. 175 viewers. I hope you weren't disappointed with my find, because I sure ain't. That is one cool find, to find that out where I found it. I mean, it'd be different if you found that in the city park or in your front yard of your subdivision or something. It is, yeah. I mean, it's still cool, but to find it where I found it, you're talking about a needle in a haystack. I mean, it's miles to the nearest house in any direction. Just crazy. I'll see you tomorrow with something else.